They only get one shot at this. So you better make it count. Staying about maybe 1/4 of an inch underneath the natural line, just so if I do need to cut it up more, I can. Because if I go too high, I'm screwed, which I actually did that on my my 5th gen on my ADV Baja Fenders. I went way too high, and it actually ended up turning out pretty good. Over time I got used to it, but it was definitely higher than I wanted to. Now, as far as my VIPER cut, since I am going to be upgrading to a full-size bumper, I saw that their cut is right above this second flare right here. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit lower, just so that we have room when we do the full-size bumper. Just keep that in mind from whatever style bumper you're going to be using, whether it's a low pro or a full bumper, where the cuts are, so that you have room to work with in the future. As I learned on the Tacoma when I was doing the front fender cut, I cut way too close to this line, and it made this whole part here flappy. So I'm going to try to stay back a bit more this time, so hopefully I can save this flare right here. And again, my cut for my VIPER is just going to come right below here. And as far as the VIPER cut, that's what I'm doing as well, as following this natural body line. So I'm just putting the tape, because on these TRD off-road bumpers, it's a little different from the pros. They're not as angled, so I'm going to try to keep this right at this natural body line and just bring it over from here. So these are two pieces. So you have the front bumper here. If I unclip this, so when I cut here, and if I get all the way through without touching this, this whole part should come off, and it'll actually look pretty clean, I think. All right, so that is going to be my line for the high clearance fender cut. And come through here, and then that's going to be the line for the VIPER cut. I'll tape this up here just to know I'm not touching this part. I'm just going to cut straight, and then probably by hand just try to chisel that out. It should come off. All right guys, and the key here is just prep, making sure I keep going over this line, because once it's cut, there's no going back, and I want it to be as even as possible. So I'm just checking this all the way around, and it looks a little high here. Gotta bring it down just a bit. Another thing you want to do is get this inner fender liner out of the way, and I just kind of pull it down, pop it off, so I can see. It's not like the plastic inner fender liner from the 5th gen. It's like this other material that folds down like a blanket. So I need to cut the actual fender behind the plastic as well. So, all right. So I removed the plastic fender, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut that just like that on the workbench here. Help me get a little straighter. And then this, I'm gonna get my multi-tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit this right on this line, right up to this point right here. Doing is using my angle, or using my multi-tool here to finish cutting this out. Honestly, I'm just trying to be really careful. So I got this bottom piece out. But so now it's just going to be a lot of cleaning, sanding it down. This is where we're at the moment. So there's this box behind here. So you gotta get this front part out, pop this off. And this is where I messed up last time with the Tacoma, and I had to put those lights on, is because I cut this whole thing off, so there's nothing supporting it, so it was all loose. This is a little tighter this time. So I'm trying to save this here. And now just to test the fit here. Now this will have door trim on it, but I'm still gonna sand it down like it was, you know, a perfect line. Right now I'm gonna get my multi-tool here and get my little sander going just to clean up these plastic edges. All right, so now that I got that, I'm just gonna use it to line up my VIPER cut. And I'm just gonna use my multi-tool here and just slowly come through. Let's hope it works. That actually came out really good. So since it's got the the double mustache going on, I don't have to cut anything down here. It just cuts the side. All right, now you guys are probably wondering, well, what about the bracket, everything behind here? Well, you can take that out if you want. But most of us that are doing this are probably gonna have a new bumper, whether it be a low pro or a full bumper. And this whole piece comes out with the low pro and the full bumper. So you won't see it, but you know, you do see it though if, so unless you wanna like come down maybe right here and curve it, it'll block all that. Now that I got the VIPER cut down, I'm going to go ahead and trim this inner fender liner to match. And that won't really clip back up once I cut the metal part here. So I kind of cut it right here last time, and just it pretty much stayed up as long as you got these bolts and clips holding it up, but it definitely opens up a lot. All right, now here's another stressful part since I'm doing the high clearance. Now remember, if you're not doing the high clearance, don't worry about any of this. Just do your VIPER cut, call it good. But I got to trim the metal here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my line, which is a little higher than the fender flare here. And as far as the paint goes, just grab a little towel here. And then I'll get door trim and also put it on here as well. Oh shit, forgot about that. Now there is this bracket right here, which will be fine. I'm just gonna cut this part off here. It doesn't hold anything that we need anymore, so. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the high clearance Fender cut with VIPER cut. So I'm still gonna sand up the edges, straighten everything out a bit before I put anything on as far as door trim, just to kind of give it that nice look. But that is one side down, 3 more to go. Not too shabby. All right, so I got the driver's side all buttoned down. Always easier the second time around, but of course I did cut a little too high. So this is sitting about a 1/4 inch higher than the passenger side. So if I want, I can go through and, you know. But right now I am over it. I think it looks close enough. And now you can kind of get a better picture, if you guys can tell. So the double mustache doesn't get touched unless you want to cut a little farther out here. I don't really see the purpose of that. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I think this natural line looks clean, so I don't even have to put any door trim over it. This is a adhesive door trim, by the way, coming up here. So it kind of it has a 3M tape there. You stick it on, it'll stick. But there you go, that's the VIPER cut. Kind of looks more like a VIPER now anyway. As soon as this gets out of the way, it'll be perfect. All right guys, so that is it for the high clearance cut, VIPER cut. Remember, this is removed when you do replace your bumper. So this will not be there forever. I know right now it's kind of an eyesore, but for those of you that aren't doing a bumper, it's something to consider. Maybe make your line a little bit shorter, not so aggressive. Me, obviously running a larger tire size, I wanted to get as aggressive as possible before I get my full-size bumper. Up next, I will be doing the rear. I'll make a separate video for that because it is a little bit different as far as the cut and everything goes, but this is your high clearance fender cut mixed with your VIPER cut. This was just my way of doing it. Your line might be different, however you want to do it, but this is what to expect. Stay tuned because the long travel is right around the corner and that will be available within the next couple weeks. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.